So this week we're going to dive into some more fabrication on our good friend King, the 1970 Eldorado. We're going to start off by working on filling in some of the marker light holes where we remove the factory side marker lights from the front fenders. So there'll be a couple time lapses on that, and then we're going to go ahead and move on to finishing some of the weld and rust repair on the passenger side of the vehicle, and do the marker light hole on that side as well. And then after that we're going to dive into doing the venting on the fender on the driver's side. So let's go ahead and jump into some of those time lapse and see what we can get accomplished, and then we'll get back at the end and talk about it a little bit. So first off, we'll take a look at some of the repairs we did here. So right here on the front fender in this section, we removed the marker lights a couple weeks ago, and then today I went ahead and cut some pieces of plate and filled those in, and then welded it and ground it down and smoothed it out. And right now I just got a little bit of flat black primer on there to kind of be able to stand back and see what it looks like. And then over on the passenger side, you can kind of see what this looks like without any paint on it. So that's the area on the passenger side front fender where we removed the marker light. Again, all welded and finished and cleaned up and ground down. And then on this side, we were also able to go ahead and fill in the holes along the side of the vehicle and along the bottom of the fender there, and working back along here as well. Clean that up, ground it down, and then in the very back corner here on the lower rocker, rear quarter panel, that's all welded up, cleaned up. And then, as we move around the vehicle here again to this side, I really had some fun with doing the louvers in the sides of the fenders. Now, if you've seen the other videos on the Eldorado, you'll remember that we were discussing these a few videos back. And the reason why I chose to do this, first off, is because it matches some early designs for the Eldorado concept vehicles from the mid-60s when they were first coming up with this concept. The original concept cars had louvers in this section, Now the design on the concept cars was a little bit different than this, but I chose to do this because we've got that 550 cubic inch big block Cadillac motor now, and I really want to be able to make sure that that motor has plenty of airflow in and out of the engine compartment. So as you can see, as you look into the side of these louvers, the first four, 1, 2, 3, 4, dump right into the engine compartment just on the inside of the fender well. Now on this driver's side, that's going to provide a place for the heat to escape out of the engine compartment. On the passenger side, we're going to put a cold air intake system up in that corner on the passenger side so that the engine can breathe nice, fresh, cold air from outside. So these front four, again, are fully functional for venting from the engine compartment. This one here, the fifth one in line, kind of runs into some of the interior body panels, so it doesn't really flow so well. But then these two here allow air to escape from the door jamb area. Now, eventually, once I go to put this vehicle together and do body work and so on and so forth, I'll go ahead and put mesh inside of these louvers to prevent any debris or critters or anything like that from getting inside of the fender, and just to make it look cleaner and neater. But as you stand back and look at this, I quite like the way that that turned out. And from the back of the vehicle, it's pretty subtle, but very stylish. And then as you look toward the front, looking back across the whole vehicle, they almost disappear, which I really quite like. It gives it a clean look, and getting rid of that marker light in the front lower corner also really seems to clean things up on this. So I'm excited about how that turned out, and I'm going to be even more excited to get the other side fabricated maybe next week, and then we'll really be able to see what this is going to look like. Now, in addition to those louvers on the fenders, I'm going to go ahead and do a matching set on the hood when I go ahead and do the fabrication work on the hood. And that's going to be another point for heat to come out of the engine compartment. And what I'll do is I'll run louvers, the same number, 7, like there are on the fender, across this side of the hood and this side of the hood at an angle to match the angle of our grill. And that'll provide another area for heat to get out of the engine compartment. So we'll have not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 vents on the vehicle, allowing those louvers to pull that heat out of the engine compartment, keep that 550 cubic inch big block we've got nice and cool. And in addition to that extra cooling capacity, I think it adds a really neat style to the car that brings us back to the original design of these Eldorados. Pretty dang cool. Happy to see this coming together, and happy to be able to put my own unique touch on the design of this particular vehicle. So that's going to do it for this week's video. We made a lot of progress on the rust repair and finish welding on the passenger side of the vehicle, and then I did a lot of work on those marker light holes, got those all filled in, looking clean and smooth. And then I spent a lot of time working on the side louvers, and I'm really excited about how that turned out. So excited, in fact, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and do it to the hood as well. So next week we'll finish up the louver set on the passenger side of the Eldorado, and then maybe we'll even drag the hood around and start working on that and see what we can do about putting some louvers in that, as well as the rust repair on the hood too. It's got some holes along the body trim in the center of the hood, and we're going to actually get rid of that piece of trim that runs down the center of the hood to kind of clean it up as well. So there's definitely some fabrication work to do there. And once we get through the hood and the louvers on that passenger side, that takes care of some of the big fabrication on the exterior of this vehicle, as well as the rust repair. So that brings us a lot closer to where we want to be. And then hopefully after that I can start diving into the transmission rebuild. And next week also I'll bring back the intake manifold. I went ahead and took it to the shop I work at for a little bit more cleanup work and making it pretty. So we'll bring back that manifold next week and take some pictures of that, have a look and see how we did on the port and polish of that intake. So I think that's going to do it for this week. Pretty excited about these changes. I love putting these little finishing touches on the body of these vehicles like this. It really gives it its own unique look. I like the clean aspect of fabrication like this. It really adds something else, but you kind of have to look for it a little bit, and it's not just in your face like a lot of the fabrication that people do comes across. So pretty excited about that. Really enjoying the way this is going so far, and starting to get an idea what this thing's going to look like when it's all together. And just can't wait to get that big 550 cubic inch motor stuffed in there. So I'm going to try to get through all this fabrication stuff so I can get to the fun bit of putting the big motor in there as quick as I can. Anyway, that'll do it for this week, and check in next week and we'll have some more fun with some more fabrication. Until then, have a good one.